Hi everybody, welcome back to the Butterfly House series on pollinators for National Pollinator Week. My name is Chris Hartley and I'm here to talk to you all about bees today. Bees are without a doubt the world's most important pollinators, and I bet many of you have heard about the importance of bees to us. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the diversity of bees and about some of the types of bees that live in our area. I bet you've already heard about honeybees, and honeybees are very, very important. But honeybees are not native to North America, and there's over 3,500 species of bees that are native to North America. We're going to talk about some of those today. So first, why don't we look at some flowers, like this purple prairie clover here. So bees are able to gather pollen and nectar from flowers. One thing that makes bees very important pollinators is that they deliberately set out to get pollen. In fact, can we see this picture of the rose turtle head here? I know it's just a picture, but notice how weird those flowers look? Those flowers can only be pollinated by bumblebees. They're big and strong, and they can actually force open those flowers to get inside and gain access to that nectar and pollen. Smaller bees cannot do that. Butterflies, moths, flies cannot do that. Only bumblebees. That's another key to why bees are so important as pollinators, just because they can pollinate some flowers and have special relationships with some flowers that other animals just cannot pollinate. So in fact, why don't we go over here? We'll look at some of the different kinds of bees that we have. So there are leafcutter bees, there are mason bees, and there are many other kinds besides. So we're going to look at some pictures of those and ways that you can actually help those bees around your home. Follow me. All right. So there are many, many, many different kinds of bees. So we have right here in this picture some leafcutter bees. Leafcutter bees will actually cut small pieces of leaf, and they will take those back to line their nest. They'll put pollen in there, and they'll raise their babies on that. We also have brilliant green sweat bees. Now, many of you might have heard of sweat bees, and you think, oh yeah, those sting, and they hurt so much. But let me tell you, sweat bees rarely, if ever, sting. So there's really no reason to worry when you see these bees around. In fact, look closely at them, because they are so beautiful. They're like living emeralds that visit our garden. There are other kinds of sweat bees too that aren't metallic and colorful like that. In fact, they kind of look like mini honeybees. There's a group called the mining bees, the family Andrenidae. These are the kind of bee that makes holes in the ground and nests under the ground. In fact, we're in a very special place right now because we actually have a nest of not mining bees, but digger bees here. And we're going to see if we can get the camera close enough so that you can see some of these bees going in and out of their nest. These digger bees have made this fantastic colony right here in a pile of dirt that we weren't using for anything, but they found it, and it was just the right kind of home for them. One way that you and everyone can encourage bees around your homes is definitely by planting flowers. And I encourage everyone to plant as many different native wildflowers as possible. But another way, especially for bees, that you can encourage them is by providing nesting habitat. So this is a really fantastic nest. And we did not put this pile of dirt here specifically hoping to get bees. They just found it and it was a good home for them. Around your home, you can encourage bees to nest in the ground like this by leaving bare patches of earth, maybe spots in your garden where you don't mulch, even in and among clumps of plants where there's just bare ground. Bees will find a place there. And don't worry about getting stung. Really, the danger of getting stung is very, very low with bees like this. Most people get stung by wasps like yellow jackets or paper wasps. Bees almost never sting anybody, even though they are capable of it. The only time you're ever going to get stung by a bee is if you accidentally step on one with bare feet or something like that. So, if you turn the camera over here, please, Julia, we have another kind of nest that you can use to encourage bees around your home. This is a rather elaborate one with an actual wooden box structure, but the part inside is what's most important. These are hollow pieces of wood. They're just various twigs and things. These were actually had a pithy center that has been hollowed out. And these, you'll actually find that there's a wide variety of wildflowers growing in your area, probably in your backyard, that do have hollow stems, and they're naturally hollow, and you can use them just like that. Also, though, if you don't have plants like that growing around you, you can buy bamboo. Quite a lot of people use bamboo cut up into segments to make a house like this. You'll also notice that we have some pieces of wood here that we've drilled holes into. So this is another way that you can encourage bees to move in around your house. Mason bees, leafcutter bees, and other bees that nest inside hollow twigs will use holes in wood like this too. There's lots of great resources online and in books where you can get some information about how to do this around your own home. You can certainly ask us here at the Butterfly House too. We'd be more than happy to help. And before I leave you, I did just want to show you one more picture. This is a picture of a bumblebee doing its thing. This is a tomato flower. Many of you gardeners might recognize tomato flowers. They have a really weird shape. Bumblebees pollinate the tomato flower in a way that other bees just cannot. They do something called buzz pollination, where they grab onto the underside of the flower and they buzz, buzz, buzz to shake the pollen loose. Honeybees can't do that. Other bees can't do that. It has to be a bumblebee because they know how to do the buzz pollination. That makes them very important to all of us who grow vegetables. And without a doubt, they do the same pollination services for other wildflowers, trees and shrubs, and other plants in our area. So before we sign off, Julia, did you have some questions for us about bees?
I did, Chris. If only bumblebees can do the buzz pollination, how do other bees pollinate?
So that's a really good question. The bumblebees can do the buzz pollination to access pollen inside flowers that are shaped like tomato flowers. If a bumblebee goes against something like a sunflower that's flat and open, they just pollinate it normally. Other bees that can't do the buzz pollination can only access pollen in flowers that are kind of sunflower shaped or flowers with a nice big opening that they can actually crawl into. So the thing about the buzz pollination is it allows the bumblebees to access flowers that other bees just don't have access to.
Okay, cool. And do all bees make nests like the digger bees?
So they don't all make a huge nest like that. Some are truly solitary, and they will only nest singly. You might actually find what looks like a little anthill in your yard that's not actually an anthill, but it's a solitary bee nest. If you're there at just the right time, you might actually see the mother bee going in and out of the little nest hole. And I wouldn't worry about confusing it for a yellow jacket or anything else harmful either. Anything that's going to be potentially problematic is going to be really obvious. The bee nests are usually just like a little hole in the ground and nothing to worry about.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the good questions. And if you all have any questions, don't hesitate to comment or to write us here at the Butterfly House, and we'll be more than happy to talk with you. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to continue our Pollinator Week series and talk about butterflies. Bye-bye.